In today's video, we're installing the new King's freestanding 270-degree awning, as well as giving my overview of the last 18 months with the previous version, the non-freestanding version. And then I'm going to give you my initial thoughts on this one, what I like, anything I don't like, and then we'll catch up again in another 12 to 18 months and see how it went, see what breaks. For around the last 18 months, I've been running the original King's 270 awning. We've taken it up to Cape York. I did a few weeks up there, using it every day. And we've done many other weekend trips, and I've had zero issues with it. But there is one thing I would change with it. So yeah, these little plastic clips that go on the bottom of these legs, it's shaped like a little double loop or like a monkey tail looking thing. When you've got to hold the end of these in one hand and walk it out, and then you try to juggle this in your other hand. So you get your hand all the way out here, you almost like fully extended your wingspan, and then you're trying to push this off. It's easy enough to get off, like you can push it and pop it off, but when you're kind of juggling it and closing it and you're trying to put it back on, it doesn't go on that well. If they just had this as like a normal U-clamp that just snapped over like a little Pac-Man jaws, would be much easier. Just have it pop straight up, snap on there. Anyway, for an awning that's currently $334 on the Fall Drive Supercenter website, really that's nothing to complain about. One little plastic clip that you could probably change if you wanted to. Other than that, it's been waterproof, it hasn't broken, none of the fittings have broken, none of the stitching's torn. Really, no complaints for, you know, under 350 bucks delivered. Perfectly fine by me, I still stand by it. Obviously, the only reason I'm changing over to the new one is because it's a new one. So I do these videos. I was keen to try this. Juggling those poles, yeah, it's a bit of an issue, but hopefully this improves that. I'm not sure yet, haven't fitted it. But yeah, pretty much I just buy these to see what breaks so I can let you guys know. Anyway, that's enough chit chat about the old one. Let's whack this new one on. I'm pretty pumped. Let's get it done. I've got a feeling she's going to be a fair bit bigger is my concern. The box does say gross weight's 31.5 kilos, net weight's 28.5. Can't remember what this one was. I might look it up and chuck the specs down here somewhere, but I think it's going to be a fair bit bigger, being that it's got these big freestanding poles and that sort of stuff. So hopefully this doggo stays out of my way and we can get this done. Let's do it. I'm also attempting this on my own, so you might see me do a little couple of life hacks to get it done. See how this goes. Otherwise, I'm going to have to call a mate. That through there like that. Difficulties. Okay. Old awning removed. It's actually lighter than I remember. Righto, the unboxing. Whoop. Okay. Must be box and brackets and things. Nicely packaged in foam. I reckon she might be about 75% more heavier than another one. Going off my calibrated biceps. It's a satisfying rip. She looks pretty good, but I guess let's do a bit of a side-by-side comparison while I've got this opportunity with both models on a bench. She's definitely a bit, I guess, it's a bit more of a box, but definitely is bigger. So you're more of a square shape instead of a bit of a rectangle that hangs off the side. Look, the packing, the bag material, whatever you call it. A bit thicker. Yeah, so this vinyl cover, it definitely feels like a heavier weight. The, what's that, like a sublimated print King's logo is now up to a bit more of a, I guess, black and white. Doesn't stand out like the, you know, that stands out like dog's balls, that's King's gear. Still stands out, but a bit more premium, I guess. Zippers, nice big thick zippers. Big tabs to grab onto. No complaints there. The zipper on that one was always good. Never had any issues. So yeah, that's how they sit side by side. In the box of goodies it comes with, they look like the tie-down straps. So several of those. One will be the tensioning strap for tensioning the arm back to the vehicle. Rubber gaskets, I'd say that's where the backbone of this bolts onto the brackets on the car. Pretty cool looking tent pegs, look at them. Like a King's branded, cool looking machined peg. A good little tie off staunching thing there. Look right. There's a stack of those. Oh yeah, a bag to put all that stuff in with a little loop on it. That'll be neat. Whoop. All your fasteners, bolts, washers, nylock nuts. And 3 of these big brackets, they're much larger than the ones that were on there. And there's 3 of them. There was only 2 before with that. I was sort of hoping that I could use the current brackets because I had to trim out a bit of the front one to get it underneath the solar panel. So I might have a look on the roof now and see if that's going to fit or not. Otherwise I'm going to have to do some trimming. Right, I've got the brackets all fitted up on the top, 2 at this end where it's going to brace itself pretty tightly, 1 right down the other end. They go through the mesh on the alloy roof racks. I'm not sure that's going to work long term. It might, but don't know. Otherwise I might use a TIG welder and weld in some alley plate, because I think you're meant to mount it on a Pioneer rack with, you know, the T-nuts and that sort of stuff hard on those surfaces, a bit stronger, but it'll be a good test. And then you're going to take the bag off the awning and you like zip ties around it to stop it folding out. Put the bolts in loosely with the non-nylock nuts on them. Put it up, mock it up in position so you know where the bolts need to sit, and then tighten them up so they stay in position. Put it back down, put the bag over the top of it, and then feel around with your fingers on top of where the bolts are sitting there locked, and mark that with a pen. And then take the bag off, and then we punch some holes in it with a wad punch. And then you put the bag back on it, like you take those free nuts off, so it's just the bolts in the tracks. Put the bag back on it, put the rubber washer on there, so that keeps it waterproof, then a stainless washer, and then you're ready to go back up on the brackets.
Simples.
So that's what we're going to do now. Up on there, another stainless washer on the back, nylock nut, do it up, and we're done. So let's give that a crack. Definitely a 2-people job. Very nice. Doesn't look like as big on the car, like it looks okay. Right, let's go. Setup time. This is the bit I'm hopeful for. How easy is it and how quick is it? I'm going to run a stopwatch. Let's go. 56 seconds. Have a go at that. The original King's awning, really good for the price, but this thing, I think it cost me 700-ish delivered, 56 seconds setup. Like, it's just so much further ahead of that one with setting the legs up and all that sort of stuff, juggling the arms. It holds the arms up level from what I can see. And what I really like about the tie-off at the back of it compared to the first one, the first generation one had like, the two buckles that just thread through and then pull down, whatever they're called. Not sure the technical name. And on the end of the rope, I don't think there was anything from memory. I had to go I got a little figure 8 carabiner, a little bit similar to this one. That's just a standard carabiner. But this one, tied off loop, carabiner, clips straight onto that side of the roof rack. And then on this end is a, what are they, like an over center that bites in. I should really know what the technical names of these are. Anyway, I don't. But yeah, that's the one that you feed through and it's spring loaded and bites back down on the lanyard. So straight on there from factory. So they've obviously taken that feedback from the previous one, I imagine. But that makes it so much quicker. That stays on, just run it around, bang, bang, clip on, cinch that down, and she's done, that's it. This whole pivot mechanism, it seems pretty good. Like it's looks like it's CNC cut. It's probably 3 or 4 mil thick. That design there, actually, that's going to be a bottle opener that they've cut into there. So there you go. Open your stubbies on that. The fasteners look good. Socket head set screws. They look to all be stainless. This whole backbone that goes along is big aluminium extrusion. The arms, got these CNC gusset plates welded in. It's all spot welded and fully welded around the ends here. Welds look decent, they don't look crappy. The canvas itself looks just as good, maybe a little bit heavier. It's got a decent amount of overhang down the edge here, which is good. The previous one for the awning walls had Velcro. This one has zips, so that's probably a bit more solid, a bit easier to work with. And another feature I do like is the way these arms, so obviously being cantilevered, being freestanding, gives you room in here to run lights or hang a towel or a tea towel or something like that. On the other one, obviously the round aluminium poles went all the way through the canvas and there was only little short sections of pole available. So I was using little clip-on magnetic lights. It was really hard to find a spot to clip those on with this having a heap more pole available. Another handy feature. It's got plenty of tie down points to tie it down, so it's got one on every corner where the poles are, and then it also has ones in the middle as well. So if you needed to cinch it down a little bit, if it was heavy rain, to make the rain run off in a certain section, or if it was just really, really windy and you needed to tie it down twice as much as the standard tie downs, it's all available there. So hopefully you don't need to use that, but it might come in handy. That's probably all my initial thoughts of what I like about it. What do I dislike about it straight off the bat? I thought the size was going to be an issue, but look, it is probably 70% heavier or whatever I put up before on the screen earlier back. So obviously it's heavier, it's bigger, not bigger coverage area really, but it's got a lot more poles in it. So of course it's going to be heavier. And a little bit of the install. So I didn't realize that those brackets were really meant to be onto a hard, flat aluminium, sort of like a Rhino Rack Pioneer platform or one of those. Being that mine's that security mesh sort of layout, there's a tiny bit of flex there. Like if I pull on these arms a little bit, it doesn't look like enough that it's going to concern me, but you can see it does flex the mesh a tiny bit. So look, I'm pretty lucky that I've got a TIG welder and I can somewhat weld and all that sort of stuff. So if it does happen to break, I'll just weld a bit of aluminium panel in there and make a dedicated mounting section for this, so it is strong enough. But yeah, that is one thing to think about. If you've got a Pioneer platform, all good. If you've got some other brand, like mine's the Ocam, it's a great rack. It's heaps cheaper than the other ones, so I would still buy it. But yeah, for fitting these, the King's one, I'm guessing the other ones are the same as well. So I just didn't realize that going into it. So you're not a showstopper, but just something you got to think about. If you've got any questions all about this one, like always, drop them in the comments. I'll do a follow-up review on this. So let me know, how long should I be running this before we just want to hear back about it again? You know, X amount of trips, so many months. You know, I think it was 16 months or something since the last one, since I was doing this one, but I didn't plan that. That's just how it worked out. I've got a heap more trips coming up, so stay tuned for them. Subscribe, all the good stuff, you know what to do. Follow along, follow me on the socials. I'm on everywhere. Also on Twitter now, so I'll put them all around here. TikTok, Insta, Facebook, Twitter. Check everything out over there for sneak peeks. And if you like four-wheel drive trips and all that sort of stuff, you'll probably like, I'll put a playlist up here for the Cape York trip that I did last year, and probably the toy hauler build. If you like seeing stuff get built and off-road gear and big setups like that, I'll throw a video down here somewhere for that one there as well. So coming towards the end of it, but yeah, check that one out. That's it for another one. See you next time.